Kev, just let me get your initial take from the game one matchup that we saw between Phoenix and Milwaukee.
I mean, if I'm being completely honest, first of all, let's just be frank. The fact that Giannis Antetokounmpo played this game in and of itself is a miracle. I know that Kyle and I briefly spoke about it yesterday, but from what we saw on the injury to what we saw actually him play tonight, it looked like he wasn't hurt at all. Obviously, he looked a little tired. He looked a little fatigued towards the later end of the game. He hasn't played in a couple, maybe a week or so. So, that's to be expected. But for him to go out there and play the minutes that he did and go out there and score the 20 points that he provided to the team, it was pivotal. I mean, 35 minutes on a hyperextended left knee, absolutely insane. Kudos to Giannis. Major respect for him going out there and putting it all on the line. Unfortunately, it wasn't a loss, but I just wanted to get that out there. But overall, as a whole, Milwaukee really came out and showed up, minus one individual who has been performing stellar lately, and that's Drew Holiday. I mean, led by Chris Middleton's 29, Giannis is 20, and Brook Lopez 17, but Drew only had 10, 4 of 14 shooting. That cannot happen going forward in this series if Milwaukee plans to combat the firepower that the Phoenix Suns came out with. And man, did they have it. I mean, Chris Paul was having himself a day. It looked like no matter what it is that he was going to do or did, he was unstoppable. DeAndre Ayton was an absolute monster on the boards with 19. And Devin Booker had himself a night scoring 27. So all in all, very well-rounded game. I know that the score doesn't seem to reflect it, but every time Phoenix did have some sort of a lead and it seemed like they were kind of gaining momentum and going away with it, Milwaukee found ways to chip and chip and chip, whether those were individual runs by players, selectively Chris Middleton. He went on a couple 5 or 7-0 runs on his own, kind of keeping Milwaukee's hopes and dreams alive in this game. But for a game one NBA Finals with a superstar or megastar to pretty much expected not to play, from him to go to from doubtful to questionable to game time decision to active, all within what, Kyle? I sent you that first report at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, and his health status kept improving as the day went on.
It was crazy.
It's just,
I
I mean,
just
I don't even know really what to say here. It's absolutely wild that we were talking about this last night to the point where we didn't expect Giannis to be at least back into the lineup until probably game two, possibly even potentially game three. And then all of a sudden, Adrian Wojnarowski starts putting out updates throughout the afternoon saying that it seems like has a very good shot of playing this game. And I mean, it got all the way up to the point where he was a game time decision and ended up playing in game one. So I think looking forward for Milwaukee in that respect, I think that's definitely going to be a positive aspect from this game, even though that they lost against Phoenix. I think that's something they could at least kind of hold their head up a little bit, knowing that he's going to be ready to go in game two and for the rest of the series, as long as he doesn't re-aggravate that knee injury. But just to talk about the Suns here, since they won the game by 13 points, 118 to 105. Look, this is Chris Paul's finals debut, and my goodness, did he step up and he balled out. I mean, 12 of 19 from the field, drops 32 points. It was absolutely sensational. He was really the guy that stepped up for the Suns in the second quarter and the third quarter. He just got on a run, specifically in the third quarter, where he dropped 16 points in that quarter. And it didn't really matter what Milwaukee threw at him defensively. He was just knocking down shots left and right. He was knocking down 3-point shots. He had one running layup where he had Bobby Portis in a spin cycle. His mid-range jumpers. He's just able to find those really tight spaces and get a little bit of separation for those mid-range jumpers that he's always known to knock down. And not only did Chris Paul play well, but I thought DeAndre Ayton was a monster tonight. 22 points, shot 8 of 10 from the field, 19 rebounds. He was sensational throughout the entirety of the game. And then when you look at the rest of the roster here, I thought Devin Booker had a pretty solid night. Didn't have the most efficient night shooting, but he did knock down all of his free throws. He was 10 of 10 from the field. Finished the night with 27 points. I also thought Mikal Bridges was able to knock down some 3-point shots. He had 14 as well. And then they got solid production from their bench and Cameron Johnson and Cameron Payne. They both dropped 10 apiece. I mean, all in all, Phoenix's offense was phenomenal from beginning to end tonight. And I got to give credit to Monty Williams. He put guys in situations where they had the ability to succeed. And I thought one of the biggest matchups that worked for Phoenix tonight was that they were able to get either Devin Booker or Chris Paul going one-on-one against Brook Lopez. And Milwaukee never made the adjustments to try to get somebody smaller on either Booker or Paul. And it was a mismatch for Lopez because by and large, Devin Booker and Chris Paul largely exploited that matchup to their advantage, and they executed quite well against Brook Lopez in that sense. So I think if you're Milwaukee in game two, you got to focus on maybe trying to get Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton to play one-on-one against Booker and Chris Paul, and not have a situation where you get mismatched with Brook Lopez going up against some of the best point guards and shooting guards that this league has to offer. All in all, I thought Milwaukee had chances to get back into this game, but it seemed by and large that Phoenix held a comfortable lead throughout the entirety of the game. I mean, I do remember Milwaukee did cut the lead to about 9 points halfway through the fourth quarter, but that was as far as they got it, and Phoenix just found ways to exploit Milwaukee's defense, and I mean, they ended up winning the game by 13 points. So, all in all, I thought it was a fantastic game one to start the NBA Finals. I was quite surprised that Giannis actually played in this game, and I thought coming off of that hyperextended knee that he had just a week ago, I thought he looked fine. He looked like his typical self. He was able to get good explosion off of that knee. It didn't seem like he was struggling in any sort of way to get height on his jumps. He seemed like he was jumping pretty well, and he did pretty well rebounding the ball. So all in all, I think, if you're Milwaukee, the fact that Giannis was able to play pretty well in game one is something that you could look as a positive aspect from this game. The only thing is he's got to get his endurance back up. He just got to get his game speed back. He hasn't played in a week and a half, so I imagine he'll be fine as we transition into game two later this week.